513 WMAZ Morning starts now.
The weekend deluge begins today here in central Georgia. Rain lasting through at least Sunday, plus wintry weather to the north. I'll talk about the details of what you need to know coming up.
This morning, a teen is in critical condition after being shot in Macon. We explain what we know so far.
Once the suspect has those photos, they then demand payment from the juvenile, or they will post these to their friends or on their social media and tag them in them.
We have a new warning to share with you concerning popular social media apps, what parents and your kids need to watch out for. Good Friday morning, Central Georgia. You're taking a live look over the city of Dublin. The time is now 5:30 a.m. here on this February the 10th. Happy Friday. I'm Wanye Reese. Thank you so much for staying with us. Before you head out the door, you're definitely going to want that rain jacket and umbrella this morning, Alex.
That's right. Even though it might not look like it outside right now, once we get into the afternoon, if you don't grab it, you're going to be regretting it here as we get into the afternoon hours, into the evening, and into tomorrow here in central Georgia. So looking live over Dublin this morning, temperatures are in the 50s and 60s, 57 in Macon, 58 Warner Robins, 63 over in Dublin, and 55 waking up in Milledgeville, 54 waking up in Monroe County, 60 in Bleckley County, 60 down in Dooley County, and 63 in Wilcox County this morning. Out there on the radar picture, we are seeing a handful of sprinkles over towards Jones, North Macon, Southern Monroe, over towards Crawford, Upson, and then a steadier rainfall once you get up to Spalding County. Slide the map down to the south and east. We did see a few sprinkles through Lawrence County earlier. Those have since dissipated. However, through the day today, this radar picture is going to fill in, and it is overcast outside. There's no secret about it. Because of that, our temperatures really not able to warm up all that much, only to a high today, right around 61, with on and off rain becoming steadier through the afternoon. But coming up in a few minutes, we're going to talk much more about what to expect not only today, but through the weekend. 2 to 4 inches of rain will be possible here in central Georgia, and we'll be talking about that white and blue stuff you saw on Future View, why I am not concerned about winter weather. That comes your way here in just a few moments.
Thank you, Alex. This morning, a teen in Macon is hospitalized after being shot. Deputies say shots were fired from a car into a group of people walking on Elkin Avenue around 7 last night. A 16-year-old got hit several times and was taken to the hospital. As of last night, the teen was in critical condition. The sheriff's office did not release any information on the shooter or a description of the car. Right now, a man is recovering after someone shot him inside his car. Putnam County Sheriff Howard Sills says it happened just before midnight Wednesday on Route 44 near Harmony and Ode Phoenix Roads. The man was driving home when another car pulled up and somebody fired shots at him. 9 bullets hit his car and 1 hit him in the arm. The shooter drove away and the man hit drove himself to a hospital. Sills' office is still investigating. It's 5:33 on your Friday morning. Bibb County Sheriff David Davis hopes to install 150 flock cameras to help solve more cases. Deputies can use the system to look up things like a navy blue sedan or lime green SUVs if they suspect one was involved in a crime. The cameras scan license plates and keep a record of all the cars that pass through an area at any given time. Then it gets entered into a database that allows all law enforcement agencies with flock cameras access. Sheriff David Davis believes the technology may help them solve more cases like a shooting this summer at the Harrison Road Walmart.
Black car, possibly a Volkswagen Passat, but if we had a flock camera there, we could go back and look through all of the vehicles, run their tags, and maybe develop some suspects that way.
Davis says once the money comes through, they expect to start rolling out the system within a couple weeks. But he says if it doesn't come through, they plan to go to the county commission for the money. Right now, House and county authorities are warning parents to be on the lookout for a scam targeting our young people around the world. It involves sextortion. Kids are targeted through internet apps like Snapchat and Instagram. They're contacted by a stranger pretending to be another young person. It starts innocently until they exchange explicit photos. Lieutenant Darren Meadows with the House and County Sheriff's Office says that's when the extortion begins.
Once the suspect has those photos, they then demand payment from the juvenile, or they will post these to their friends or on their social media and tag them in them. And so the juveniles then generally will freak out, and sometimes they will comply and pay them money.
Meadows says they've seen nearly a dozen cases in House and County in recent years, including 4 last year. Some of those cases were linked back to Nigeria, and because of that, the scammers could not be prosecuted. Lieutenant Meadows says you should never pay. Instead, screenshot the evidence and then contact your local authorities. This week, Liz Fabian, our partner with the Mercer Center for Collaborative Journalism, reports Macon Bibb commissioners put alcohol restrictions on the 20s pub on Riverside Drive. She also says they came to the decision after considering owner Tim Abelgoner's history with the Thirsty Turtle. That bar was shut down back in 2021 after shootings downtown. Now, 20s pub must have a security officer from 9 p.m. to close on Friday and Saturday nights. The pub's license can also be revoked if there's a situation that starts in the bar and results in a shooting within 100 feet, or if there are 2 violent incidents that lead to injury in a single year. Abelgoner also owns the Hummingbird and Billy's Clubhouse. Commissioners also revoked the alcohol license of Midtown Daiquiri Bar on Log Cabin Drive. The business can appeal. Newly released body camera video by Atlanta police surrounding the deadly shooting of a protester at a planned police and fire training facility does not show the shooting. It shows officers you see here cleaning tents from the site of a planned public safety training center and then reacting after they heard gunfire. The shots killed an environmental activist and hurt a state trooper. The 4 Atlanta police officers were part of a multi-agency clearing operation at the site on January the 18th, but they did not witness the exchange of gunfire. Manuel Tehran died there after officers said he opened fire on them. Well, this morning, Senator Jon Ossoff is visiting Central Georgia. He's talking about money for Middle Georgia State University. Last Congress, Ossoff secured $4 million for aviation simulators at Middle Georgia State University's Eastman campus. Senator Ossoff will discuss the program with Macon Mayor Pro Tem Seth Clark and University President Dr. Christopher Blake. It starts at 11:45 at the university's Enrollment Center on University Parkway in Macon. Well, eating during the Super Bowl is a sport itself, right? Stick with us while we look at the foods that are more expensive this year and the fan favorites that are actually cheaper.
And that we would not allow the fact that we were African American or that we were raised in a single parent household or that we were women stop us. And she showed us that every day when she became the highest ranking woman in that paper factory.
That no excuses mentality helped guide Dr. Valerie Montgomery rise to the top of her profession, and it all started in Macon. The standout student from Southwest High School went on to study engineering at Georgia Tech and eventually medicine at Harvard. She says one thing made all the difference. Learn more about Dr. Montgomery Rice's journey Monday at 11 on 13 WMAZ News. The time is now 5:38 here on this beautiful Friday morning, and everything is clear and nice right now, Alex, but that's going to be changing soon.
Beautiful Friday morning. Awful Friday afternoon and evening here in Central Georgia because the rainfall is going to be building in. We've been talking about it for days now. As we look live over downtown, we are finding clear conditions at the moment, but it is sprinkling in a few spots across Central Georgia. A temperature right now in Macon of 57 degrees with these overcast skies, continuing wind out of the north-northeast at about 3 miles an hour. 57 in Macon, 58 Warner Robins, 60 right now in Bleckley County, 61 down in Eastman, 63 in Dublin. So a mix of 50s and 60s on the board. We flip this over to the radar picture. You find a few sprinkles this morning in Jones County, parts of North Macon, Northern Crawford, Southern Monroe, more towards Upson, and then once you work your way up 75, not too far away from where the outlets are up there in Henry County, pretty steady rainfall. However, through the day today, we're going to expect this radar picture to fill in. I'll show you that on Future View here in just a moment, but you can see the general trend, right? Showers moving from southwest to northeast, and that trend will stick through the day today. So let's talk about it here on Future View. Through the morning hours, it's not going to be too terribly wet of a morning. We are going to have the overcast skies. We are going to have a light wind, but we are not going to be looking at necessarily the steady rainfall just yet. That's really going to build in through the afternoon and evening. So from noon until about 6 p.m., we're going to be looking at the rain taking over. There's 5 p.m. there for Forsyth, Macon, Warner Robins, Eastman, all getting wet. And then as we continue into the night tonight, we're going to be looking at the steady rainfall. Now, it's possible to see a few dry hours. However, when it's dry outside, it's still going to be rather humid because the rainfall is going to be close by and obviously overcast. Through the overnight hours, the rain builds back in. And then for Saturday, we're just calling it a complete washout. If you have any outdoor plans tomorrow, the likelihood of those happening are few and are slim, I should say. There's the noon hour, playing this forward into the afternoon. It might, again, have a brief dry hour. However, the rain will build back in before we know it. The low comes by as we get into overnight Saturday into Sunday. I know you saw some whites and blues there. I want to caution you. I know what the color is showing on the model. However, you look at these temperatures, you're getting 38, 37. That does not support snowfall. So I know we're seeing that on a few of the models. However, the temperatures don't line up. The physics are not lining up. So are not concerned about winter weather at all here in central Georgia through the weekend. No question about it. So again, no snow. All right, here we go into Sunday, on into Monday. We're going to be talking about conditions beginning to clear up. This is the European model. I backed this up a bit. This is going to be Sunday morning. I think this is a better representation of what may happen, say up towards Atlanta and into the northern Georgia mountains. Maybe the potential for some winter weather. However, here in central Georgia, a cool rain as that begins to lift away on Sunday. So how much rain are we talking about? We could see 2 to 4 inches of rain. This is the European model. This is mainly showing 2 to 3. However, if we flip this over to the GFS, you see 3 to 4, widespread 3 to 4. I'm not sure where the colors went. We'll have to go find them. There they are. Again, that will carry us through Monday evening. So if you see any snow maps out there, my advice, chuck them in the trash can because they are useless to us here in central Georgia, at least for the next 48 hours or so. 61 the high today, on and off rain becoming steadier for the weekend. I've got 51 for Saturday, 48 on Sunday, and of course that carries us into next week when Valentine's Day arrives, talking about a high of 69 on Valentine's Day with partly cloudy skies. And between now and then, a lot of rainfall to work through. Today, tomorrow, 100% chance of rain. Cooler on Sunday, a high of only 49. But again, note that Sunday morning low, 37 is not below freezing.